ideally, we're bringing mindfulness into more and more aspects of our life for longer periods of time. And, um, I think for me, one thing that I try to do is to um, stay engaged with the present moment, to not say check out at least too regularly from life. Um, and I think it can be helpful for me to relate to all the spaces of the home, outside and inside, as spaces where I can say be inspired or really present, either through meaningful objects or say simplicity,
Mm-hmm.
light, um, space to sit in quiet, or um, places that aren't too tempting to indulge in um, too much of, say, um, sugar or Netflix or whatever it is, but places where I can be inspired, or to at least not check out too often.
Mm-hmm.
Um, do you have any suggestions on creating either spaces or um, ways to um, kind of sense into areas of the home where we may be checking out, or um, ways that we can check in with ourselves more? Do you have any thoughts about that topic in general, and how we can approach that to stay present more often?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you for that question too. It's as I said earlier, it's because you're in the home there, you can treat it in a whole lot of ways, and definitely treating it completely unconsciously is an option, but it's also, it's not very satisfying. You can also treat it as a basically almost like consumer model. It's just like, if I just got that right thing in here, then it would be okay. But I do think it comes down to, like what you said, Sean, about having things that are meaningful to you, and reminders of who you are, and the good that you bring to the world. Whatever that thing is that is of interest to you. I do believe, for example, for couples, I think it's essential that no matter how small the house is, that each person in that relationship has their own little space. Doesn't necessarily need to have to be a whole room, but it could be almost like a medicine cabinet that you open up and it reminds you of all the things that are valuable to you, and you close back up, right? And just because it's easy for us to become distracted and see the grass greener on the other side of the fence, that sort of thing. And then again, having a practice. I love what you said there. It's like, on the one hand, there's the practice, which is the yang version of what we're doing. We're sitting down, we're setting our timer, we're following the technique of whatever sort of meditative or mindful practice that we're doing. And then we end that section. That's what we might call the yang version of it. But then there's the whole yin, is about how is that awareness that we've developed in there, how are we carrying that forth out into the experiences? For example, one of the things that got me into the thing that probably drew me into the Buddhist path is that my best friend from birth, a person named William Oken, had made a relationship with this Buddhist Sangha in Ojai. And he happened to be living in the former home of Ellen DeGeneres and Anne Heche. And so I had a snafu with my visa before I went over to Spain for a couple of years. And I had to go to the consulate in order to get it. So I woke up one morning, and here's my friend. And my friend, when he was young, he was a bit of a hothead. He liked to, and he was very smart, and he liked to use his smarts to basically excoriate people. And I just remember, I got up out of bed, and, he was in the kitchen. He said, "Do you want a smoothie?" And I said, "Yeah, I'd love a smoothie." And so I just watched him make this smoothie. And I'm like, and I remember it's at this point, he'd probably been a part of this Sangha for like 3 or 4 years or so. And I'm watching him make this smoothie. And I'm just sort of looking at him and I'm looking at the smoothie. I'm like, what is going on here? You know, there was just something about him that was just, it was like grounded, you know, it was like he was like rooted. I mean, I couldn't, like I said, at that point, it was like one of these insightful moments. Like it was an aha moment, but it was ineffable. I did not know what was going on, but it reminded me of, you know, while I was in Spain, I remembered that. I remembered his way. And when he said, you should come to this retreat, I was reminded of the way that he was, quote unquote, mindfully tending to this very simple task. So, you know, the more that meditation is allowed to come in and percolate into the things that we do, then that's kind of where the magic happens. That's where home starts to get developed everywhere. And one other thing I want to say that I think is just really, really, really important is that, you know, our home, you know, our home base is Mother Earth. It is the earth. Okay. And it's hard to say that it's just earth because, of course, we need the sun, we need the moon, which sort of stabilizes the wobble of the planet. We have Jupiter and Saturn out there that have so much stronger gravitational pull that they attract meteors and asteroids and they run into them and spare us those calamities. But wherever we go in the world, including our homes are always sitting on land. And this is one of the key things that I'm trying to drive home through Three Lights Designs and recognizing the beauty of working on architecture projects because they're always taking place on land. And that land, again, is here to support us. And that's the thing. It's like we're not out here to save the world. The world is always already and unceasingly providing us with everything that we need to live. And that's the new tending that needs to come back for us, we modern folk, is really recognizing, okay, yes, we have these amazing capacities, but let's embed ourselves back into the web of life and recognize all of what we get to do in this world, all the joy, all the sorrow, all the amazing things, all the creations, they are all coming from this incredible system of water, of air, of earth, of light and darkness that allow our lives to unfold in a way that is really just unbelievably remarkable.